Well, honestly, I got very bored with doing transactional HR functions, and anyone who's in HR will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to get involved more on a strategic level to helping organizations really look at what can AI do for our organization. One of the things that I became very painfully aware of in conversations with CEOs and leaders is that the view is this is a tech initiative, and it is not a tech initiative. It is 80% people and 20% tech. And that is why so many AI initiatives are failing, because people are mismatching the goal. And the goal is not to get the best tech platform, because who is going to be using the tech platform? Your employees.
Yes.
So I've always really felt passionate about helping organizations, but not only organizations, employees, and the workforce. So my unique differentiating factor, if you will, is that I have experience looking at the organization as a whole and how all of the compartments and teams and departments, and from operations to finance to whatever it may be, works together as a whole instead of just looking at AI in each department.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you mentioned about that most people's misconception about AI is more on the tech versus the people. So how do when you go into an organization or consult with some businesses or organization or institutions, how do you convince them that this is more of the human side versus the technical side?
Well, I am very upfront about my approach from the beginning, and I'm very honest that I am not a tech person. I'm not a coder. I know enough to be able to talk about AI. If you want me to tell you which specific algorithm, go into all of that, I kind of know, but I'm not the go-to person for that. And one of the first things I do is ask, well, why are you asking about AI, and where is it coming from? Is it coming from your board? Is your board saying we need an AI strategy? Is it coming from your executive leaders saying we know our employees are using different AI models and we don't know what they're doing and it's a risk? And I also ask, what is your understanding about AI? Because that could be anything. That could be anything from, well, I want to teach employees how to prompt, to I want to have a application that affects every part of our organization. The key for me when I'm really working with organizations is to conduct an AI readiness in all different aspects of the organization. But one of the key areas is the culture, and how will this be received by employees, because of course there's a lot of anxiety right now with all the layoffs and a lot of resistance and a lot of overwhelm for
Yeah, and there are so many layoffs going on now, in the top and the big companies like
yes.
Amazon, they have this. And then in the pharmaceutical space, the Nova Nordisk, so many things are happening, and nobody knows where is this AI is going to. In your experience, what are the challenges in your selling the idea of AI to the people? For example, not on the board, not on the management side, those people who are, the frontliners. What is the challenge? Is convincing them that this is going to be a tool that is good for you. This is not going to replace your work.
So one of the biggest challenges in understanding AI is that, and many organizations are not ready for this concept, it's not even a concept, it's reality, is that AI is a disruptor in businesses, and businesses, processes, jobs, job descriptions, work design, all of that were not based on AI or based on what AI can do. So what AI does is it challenges how are we doing things. If organizations are used to doing the same process for, 50, 100 years, rethinking that is a challenge, because that has a tremendous amount of change. And what I have seen is companies just taking AI, and I'm sure you've heard this before, putting it on legacy processes. So if you have a legacy process that's always worked, it's worked okay, it's worked fine, but AI could make it much, much better if you're just putting AI on top of that legacy process that is working okay. You're just going to have a really fast, okay process. When what you really want is a process that's going to really change what your pain points are, or what your strategic goals are, or how can we do this faster, better, smarter, and then our employees who have other skills and talent can channel that time and resource into other aspects of the organization.
How do you think AI will, for example, as a manager or as a leader in your organization, spotting the talents, the personal developments and the strengths and weaknesses of the people, like the employees? How do you think AI will be able to unlock this easily? Because for us, for example, as a manager, we'll see, okay, we have to delve into the person, we have to talk to them and ask them, what is your current goals? And this is current KPI of the company or the department, and what is your personal development goals that will align to our department. So that is a little, difficult to handle sometimes, because there are some things that you have to have conversation and human connection as well. Do you think AI will be able to do that in the future?
No, AI will not be able to replace the human connection. Now, AI is getting better and quicker and better able to mimic human behavior, but AI can never replace the human aspect because it's not human. It's an artificial intelligence. But the aspect to what you're talking about is that AI will impact the entire ecosystem of an organization. So it's not just going to impact HR, applicant tracking, or performance management. Those are all aspects of it. But the champion for AI has to come from the CEO and then the executive management team. And then it has to go down to the frontline supervisors. And then it has to go to each department. And there has to be consistent and transparent communication. So everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows what we're doing. Everybody knows why we're doing it. And everybody knows that there are going to be problems. There are going to be mistakes. And that's going to be okay because we'll figure it out.
It's really interesting that you mentioned that it should come from the very, very top during this transformation. So how would you tell them what is an AI transformation from the executive level, from the C-suite level?
So from the executive level, I would coach the executive and say that your messaging has to be consistent within your entire organization. AI has to be an organizational initiative, because if it's not, then you're going to have fragmented orientation. I'm thinking HR, fragmented AI initiatives. So it can't just be HR's doing their AI, finance is doing theirs, because it's not going to match and align with the organizational goals. But I will say there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of, are we kind of walking over the cliff without a net when we're going into AI? And that's why you can start small, and you can start with smaller pilot programs that will eventually integrate into the whole organization, depending on what the initiatives are.
Yeah, moving into that point. So we move into the AI readiness and change leadership. So how do you handle that? The readiness and change leadership. How, for example, what does that process typically look like from a mid-market organization, for example?
So the AI readiness looks at several key components. It looks at, first, your culture. Is there resistance? Take a pulse on anxiety levels. What do people think AI can do for them? And that's asking people. That's taking surveys and asking them, what do you think? It's also looking at your data, because AI is all data-driven.